Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've just got this short video for you, just showing you how I set the dupatta and the jewellery on this bride. So I'm starting off with the tikka, and what I do is I actually put this in before I've actually done the hair at the front, so it doesn't ruin the hairstyle then. So I get this in, I've stuck a pin at the back, just adjusting the length and then going over it, crisscrossing with 2 bobby pins, and then I'll go on to do the hair as well. So what I do is, because if you kind of like set it like I've done it now and then you take a section of hair back, you tend to have like a bit of a gap. So I just kind of like managed to cover that by actually putting the tikka in first and then doing the rest of the styling of the hair. So I haven't actually shown the whole hairstyle today. I will have to show that later on, but I just thought I'd show you quickly how I've set everything. So next was the jhumar. So the jhumar, basically what you have to do is you can either use a piece of string as well, or I've used at the end, you can't actually see my hand unfortunately with the angle of the camera, but there's just like a U-pin that I've stuck there. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the jhumar and seeing what I like and where I like it. I tend to put it a little bit low down and just at the edge of the eyebrow. So what I've done is, you can see the jhumar is not actually sitting straight on, it's sitting at an angle, and then when I'm happy with what I've got is I just crisscross over with a few bobby pins again, and then that's secure. And then I am going to glue this down in a second as well and show you how I do that. So earrings go on, and then you have obviously the lariya that are with it. So what I do then is I'm just again using a pin, and this is personal choice how you want to pin these. So you take this higher or lower or wherever you think they fall nicely. I normally do all this bit in front of a mirror with my bride, so my bride can actually see and she tells me where she likes it and where she doesn't, and I pin it accordingly. So I'm just doing the other side for you guys as well. So once this is all set, basically I can then go on and add on the nose ring. So this nose ring was one of those that you just kind of like, it's just got a hoop and you just slip it in, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to hold this. Now with nose rings there are lots of problems that go wrong. Now again here I'm just pinning it in at the back. Now I'm pulling it higher and a little bit backwards just to be a little bit tight, but this was a little bit too tight, so we just loosened it a little bit. But sometimes these nose rings, when you've got this kind of makeup on and it's not actually going through a hole in your nose, it can slip. So it just varies on what kind of nose ring that your bride's got. Occasionally we've had to actually just not wear the nose ring because it just slipped off so much, and you get some with like a screw on it, so sometimes they're a bit better. Now to add the glue, my glue actually wasn't coming out, so I had to cut it, so that's why I'm actually just using the end of the glue, and I'm just tapping on the glue on the underside of the tikka and the jhumar now. So I'm only adding glue on my jhumar where it's going to be touching the skin on the side of the face. So that's where I've added my glue. I've turned it over because I'm going to leave it for about a minute, and then again here as well. So some tikka are a little bit odd. Now you can see I've got like a bit that's a little bit deep. Now there's no point putting any glue there because that's not going to be touching the skin, so you're going to be putting the glue where it's actually going to be touching the skin and sitting on it. So once 1 or 2 minutes have passed, I turn them over, and then what I'll do is I just adjust it slightly. I don't push it on straight away, just make sure it's right, it's center, and then I'll just push it on, and normally get my bride to put a finger on it as well and just really push it and hold it down for about a minute or so. And again, same with the jhumar as well, just make sure that you stick this down where you need it and then press it down. So for the scarf, basically what I do is I just get the center point, and then what I'll do is I'll lay this onto my model or bride's head. So at this point it's up to you. You've got to just decide whether you want both sides back, one side forward, which side you want forward. So what I do is I just kind of like get it into position, have a quick look, decide with my bride what I want to do, and just adjust it accordingly. So we've decided that basically we wanted to have the jhumar side back, and we're going to have this side forward. So first, initially what I will do is I'll get some U-pins. I'll make sure I position the dupatta. At this point it is heavy on your head, so obviously it's difficult to manage for the bride sometimes, so I normally get them to put it on their arms so that they're holding the weight. And what I'll do is I'll stick in some of these U-pins where I need to at the back, just so that it holds onto the pin of the dupatta, and then I can at least adjust the sides and it's not just falling off the head. So I've popped that on, and then what I need to do is just secure the top of the dupatta as well. So what I'm going to do here is actually get a safety pin and place a safety pin underneath the scarf. So you can see I'm just lifting it up, and this right at the top, because with just the U-pins at the back, there is still a little bit of a risk of the dupatta obviously slipping backwards and things like that. So what I do is I'm attaching a safety pin. I just got the bead stuck in here, so I just redid it. And then what I'm going to do is to get some grips, and then I use those grips and I go over the hair and the side of the safety pin. So hopefully in the video you can see how I'm actually pinning this. So you'll see that I'm just using some grips, and then I'll pin it basically through the hair, the pin, and it'll all go through. And then occasionally, depending on the type of scarf I'm doing and where I'm setting and how it's sitting, I might do this about 3 times. So I've got one in the middle here, I might have one at the side of the head, because sometimes it depends on the material of the scarf and maybe the size of the border and things like that, and sometimes it just doesn't sit flatly, so you need that pin there, and you can just pin it down and then it'll kind of like flow nicely. So once I've done that, I can then pin the sides now. This side here I normally just pin straight down. I didn't pin it here, I'm going to do it from the underside, so I didn't want to do that on the camera, but what I do is I just pin it there. And then this side here as well, again I hold it taut. Again, this scarf fell quite nicely, so I normally pin this on the underside. Again, with the camera I just did it on the outside just to show you guys. But what you need to do is obviously make sure that there's enough give leeway there that the bride can actually move her head, because sometimes when you pin it and it's too restricting and she can't actually move her head. So what I tend to do is she'll kind of like turn her head for me, and we'll see that we've got enough leeway there for her to be able to move her head comfortably, and then we'll loosen it. And sometimes we'll keep it tighter because she's prepared to have it like that because it looks nicer. So from the back you can lift the weight like I'm doing here. So what you do is it's normally right at the bottom, you've got the beads hanging down, and that's the section you need to lift up, and then you would underneath this bit just pin it to your actual dress at the back. But I don't like doing that. I try and avoid that normally, because it does normally just look a bit odd when the bride is making her entrance and pictures and things like that. So that's just one thing I thought I'd show you, that you can do that. The other thing is just right here, I'm just lifting up a section of the hair and pinning it in, because that weight from the top of the head, sometimes it can really be heavy for a bride, and she's also normally got hair pieces on, things like that. So with it pulling down, I just kind of like lift it up slightly, and you can just pin it there, and that takes off a little bit of that weight as well. So I did just pin the side of this scarf as well, just above her bangles. It was just literally wrapped round and one pin there, but I haven't got that on camera. But this was just a very quick and short video to show you guys how I did the dupatta and the jewelry setting here. I hope you've enjoyed this, and inshallah I've got lots more coming, so please do like and subscribe and leave a comment for me. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Allah Hafiz.